Has risen to 2 following an industrial accident in western Pennsylvania. A powerful explosion at a U.S. steel plant just south of Pittsburgh. The cause under investigation. 32-year-old man who police say has a history of mental health issues is in custody following a deadly shooting. Happened in the parking lot of a Target store in Austin, Texas. 3 people were killed. Watching Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures 16 points higher now. Dow futures up 16, NASDAQ futures ahead 13 points. More details at srnnews.com.
Life can change so abruptly. Just ask Paul. He's a hardworking entrepreneur. He's young. He's got a young family. Suddenly, though, he develops a rare medical condition where he lost the use of both of his arms.
I could no longer drive a car, couldn't use a computer, couldn't type, couldn't use a mouse. I could not hold my son, who was about a month old.
Paul and his family were facing a mountain of medical bills, but they're so thankful that they're members of MediShare.
I think if someone asked me like, hey, does MediShare really work? I'm living proof that it works. My 4 children are living proof that it works. My arms, which have been healed, are living proof that MediShare works. Just knowing the emotional peace of mind, knowing that our needs are going to be taken care of when we have some type of medical problem, that is such a huge blessing to us.
It could be a huge blessing to you, too. People save so much and love being part of MediShare. Call now, 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
Your home for Goodland High School athletics. Fort Hays Tech Northwest Tech Tiger basketball, the Denver Broncos, as well as the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer. You're listening to Goodland's Rocket 102.5, KKCI FM, Goodland Colby, an NWKS radio station.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
Patchy morning fog east of Highway 25 will burn off by mid-morning, and the rest of the day be mostly sunny, warming temperatures into the upper 80s. Winds will be light from an east-northeast direction at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight's lows will be around 60. Tomorrow through the end of the week, the southwestern monsoonal high pressure will expand east and north over the central and high plains. That'll warm temperatures in the mid to upper 90s to near 100 on Friday. Need to watch heat index values to the east of Highway 83 for the potential heat advisory. And afternoon winds from a south-southeast direction become breezy at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Overnight lows will be around 65. Storm chances will stay to the west in Colorado in the monsoonal flow. Then over the weekend and Monday, the ridge will flatten. Temperatures will return to seasonal values in the upper 80s and low 90s, with some scattered chances for late afternoon and evening storms sneaking out of Colorado. This meteorologist Chris Schromick in the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Wake up, sports fans. It's time to kickstart your day with the Morning Blitz and me, Ross Volkmer. Get the latest updates, in-depth analysis, and a few hot takes on everything from the preps to the pros. Whether you're driving to work or just getting your day started, I've got you covered with all the local sports talk you crave. So don't miss out. Tune in every weekday morning starting at 7 Mountain, 8 Central Time on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 to the Morning Blitz and join the conversation. Miss the show? No problem. Download and subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The insurance agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Summer is heating up, and Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby has everything you need to make the most of it. Tame that lawn with top-notch weed and feed from Ultimate Fertilizer, and keep those bugs away with powerful pesticides. Plus, Ego mower, blowers, and trimmers to get that job done fast. Fire up some summer flavor with a Traeger grill or a Blackstone griddle, and if you're building a fence or even fixing a sprinkler, they've got the building materials and supplies to keep your projects moving. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, your summer project headquarters. Summer's ending, school's here, and Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland has the trucks to keep you moving. A 2025 Sierra 3500 Pro, $1,000 purchase allowance or 3.9% for 48 months. A 3500 Denali, $2,000 purchase allowance or 3.9%. Or Sierra 1500 over a $6,000 purchase allowance or 0% APR for 36 months. Make this school year the smoothest ride yet. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas, or shop online anytime at hurlchev.com.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4! It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
The High Plains only local sports talk show.
Knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting live on Rocket 102.5 and streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Not this again.
Yes, this again.
Covering it all from the preps
Fastball swing and a miss and a strikeout there for Kaysen Cedarstrom.
to the pros.
Mahomes keeps it on an RPO at the 5, gets a lead block. He goes into the end zone near side. Touchdown, Kansas City.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with the Insurance Agency, the Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
One pitch. And that's hit to right center field. That's going to drop for a base hit. It will score another run. Coming through is Brenton Doyle with an RBI single. 2 runs across in the inning for the Rockies, and they have taken the lead in the 7th.
To the left side, Junior keeps it on the infield. Jump throw out of bounds. Isbell pounds it to deep right field and gone.
A Switzerland about it. Here's a drive to left center. Back for it is Paez out near the wall. It's gone to the California Spectacular. Zach Neto rips his second homer tonight.
The 1-2. There's a swing, and that one, if it stays fair, ends it. Fair ball. And the Rangers win it in the 10th.
I know we got baseball highlights on this morning, but I'm telling you what, stepping outside, taking in a deep breath of air, it smells like football season out there, people. That's what it was. Boy, 60 degrees, a gorgeous morning here on the High Plains. The sun is shining on our way to a high of 86. Beautiful evening last night. We're just starting to get the weather to be a little bit to where it needs to be. Not so hot, nice and cool. Like I said, it's got a football smell to it. I feel like the air this morning, just that crisp and coolness. And I do love it. So great that you are with us here on the Morning Blitz. It's August the 12th, a Tuesday, 9 minutes past the top of the hour. And once again, going to be a pretty nice day here in the tri-state region of, once again, 86, expected our high here today. But hope everyone had a good Monday, got the week off to a good start. Now we've broken the week, and now we continue to make our way through it. Today on the program, we have got plenty of things to get into. Look forward to our guest, though, the most today. We're going to have in studio. We've already had in studio the Cure brothers of Lincoln and Layton back around the 4th of July. But before the college really gets ramped up, I wanted to have their sister, Lindsay, in studio, and Lindsay has found some time out of her busy summer schedule to squeeze us in. And so former Goodland Cowgirl, former Regis volleyball player, and now Kansas State track and field athlete Lindsay Cure will join me in studio to talk about her unbelievable journey. If you haven't followed along or have heard of the story that Lindsay's been on since she graduated high school. It's actually quite interesting on how she's gotten to the point where she is now going to be going to Manhattan to throw the javelin and compete for the K-State track and field team. So look forward to having Lindsay in studio and have some discussions with her here on today's program. So we'll get to that. We'll get to some baseball a little bit later on as the Royals get a win, but the Rockies fall late. Sounds just about typical these days for baseball. My Diamondbacks blew a 6-1 lead last night. Thanks a lot, Texas Rangers. Actually, can't blame anybody but yourself and relief pitching, to be honest with you. So, nonetheless, plenty to get to here on today's program. As always, if you'd like to be part of the Morning Blitz, would love to hear from you on our text line. It's open and operational at 785-899-2222. If you'd like to be part of the Morning Blitz, please chime in with your thoughts, comments, and questions throughout the next, 50-plus minutes or so from right now. To opening segment today, it was a big day yesterday, particularly for college football fans, because the AP, the official rankings for the first, 2/3 of the season is out. Yes, these rankings don't really matter a whole lot when the CFP releases their rankings, starting in, I think it's November, for the final third of the season. But for now, the AP Top 25 is the benchmark for how teams are ranked. And I don't care who you are out there, this sets the tone for the rest of the season when it comes to the college football playoff. Once again, you might be a team that's considered to be great, like a Texas or a Penn State, but you go out there and you drop a couple of games, all of a sudden you're dropping down into the questionable area, and you could be taking away spots from teams that might have just 1 or 2 losses that might be better than you. But it's going to be hard for them to get up there because, once again, we are basing this all upon what we think we know. Not what we know, what we think we know. So people think that they believe that Texas is the best team in college football. Not by much. Only 4 points separated in the voting. 4 votes, I should say, separated Texas and Penn State from being 1 and 2. The Longhorns edging the Nittany Lions by 4 votes. It's the closest it's ever been since 1998. After that, Ohio State coming in there at number 3 with 11 first-place votes, followed by Clemson at number 4, Georgia at 5. By the way, Clemson with 4 first-place votes, Georgia at 5 with 1, Notre Dame in the 6th spot, but no first-place votes. Oregon sitting in 7th, they got 1 first-place vote. And then Alabama, LSU, and Miami round out the top 10. Something that stands out there, not a single Big 12 team in the top 10 at this point in time, but just outside the top 10 is the Big 12's top team, according to the Associated Press. That would be Arizona State coming in at number 11. The Big 12 has 4 teams ranked. Like I mentioned, Arizona State leading the way in 11th, followed by Kansas State coming in at 17. More on that in a minute. And then Iowa State at 22. And Texas Tech at 23. 4 teams in the Big 12. The SEC leads all conferences with 10 teams in the preseason top 25, most ever by a conference, and 1 more than a year ago. They also have 4 teams in the top 10 for the 2nd straight year. Once again, the SEC considered to be the king conference, even though they haven't won a national title in 2 consecutive years. The Big Ten, who has won those 2 national championships the last couple of years, has 2 of the top 3 teams in the poll for the 3rd straight year and 6 in the top 25 for the 3rd year in a row. Once again, the SEC getting a whole bunch of love without having to prove it. And that's what stinks about, once again, preseason polls. And don't get me wrong. I can sit here and I can gripe about this preseason poll thing being out, and that's perfectly fine. At the same time, it is something to talk about during the dog days of summer. So I like it, but at the same time, I have a love-hate relationship with polls at the beginning of the season because we don't know anything. We don't know. Yes, we think Arch Manning's going to be a great quarterback at Texas Tech. We think Penn State's going to be a dominant football team, and a lot of things would say that they are going to be that. You turn your quarterback who needs to take another step, but he's okay. They have they have the best 2-headed monster backfield in the country in the running backs. There's a lot less questions that need to be answered for Penn State than there are Texas. Ohio State's got new quarterbacks. Clemson's got less questions than a lot of teams. but they play in the ACC, which I'm sure hurts them. Georgia's got some questions at quarterback. Notre Dame's got questions at quarterback. Oregon's got questions at quarterback. Alabama did just name their starter, Ty Simpson, but he's a new quarterback. LSU's 9th. They've got a lot of questions answered, and Garrett Nussmeier, their quarterback, he's back. So there's a lot of question marks, even with the top 10 teams, particularly at the most important spot in sports, and that would be the quarterback position. Yet we're going to give these teams a top 10 ranking. And maybe they deserve it, but maybe they don't. We don't know. That's what's going to be interesting. So there you go. Look at your top 25 poll. Some fun facts about the top 25. Texas will try and become the 12th team to start and finish number 1 since the AP poll preseason debuted in 1950. The last team to do it was in 2017, Alabama. Notre Dame in the preseason top 10 for the 3rd time in 4 years. The Fighting Irish will have a new quarterback, CJ Carr or Kenny Minchie, which we don't know which one of those will be. They played the two have combined to play 8 snaps. Once again, question marks there, and lots of question marks. The quarterback spot in the top 10. Fun fact here: Boise State coming in at number 25, and so that means all 12 teams that played in last year's college football playoff are ranked in the preseason. And the Mountain West Broncos are the first team from a Group of 5 conference to crack the preseason top 25 since Tulane did it a couple of years ago. Another fun fact there for you. So, just like I said, some interesting factoids. Another fun fact about Texas. Texas is the number 1 team, but they are actually in their season opener, which is probably the biggest game of the season opening slate. Texas is an underdog to Ohio State. Texas plays Ohio State in their season opening game. Texas is the number 1 team, but according to Vegas, they are the underdog. I think by like 2.5, like a field goal. So not a lot, but still interesting. Does not happen very often where you see the top team in their first game of the season be an underdog. But that's what's going on. And then we get to Kansas State, who finds themselves there at number 17. They are the 2nd highest ranked Big 12 squad at this point in time. My first thought was when I saw that they were 17 was that puts them pretty much right where I think a lot of people thought that it averages out, I guess, is my point. I've seen some people put them in, just outside the top 10, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've seen some people put them in the 20 to 25 range. So once again, it's all based upon votes and averages and all that stuff. So it seems about right. I've seen on the high side of things and I've seen on the low side of things, but right where they are seems to be about average at the 17th spot. So once again, it seems about right considering a lot of voters had them anywhere from that range of, just outside the top 10 down into the 20s. Some people just absolutely love Kansas State. I was watching something last night on ESPN, and Pamela Maldonado, who writes for ESPN, she loves Kansas State. She has them as the odds to win the Big 12. She loves Avery Johnson. She thinks he's going to make a massive leap, and has picked them to win the Big 12. Certainly could happen. So we'll see. I think one of the funner takeaways from the AP Top 25, and I'm not going to say it was a surprise. I think it was expected. But the Big 12 has 4 ranked teams, Kansas State being one and Iowa State being another, which means that the season opener a week from this Saturday in Dublin, Ireland, between the Wildcats and the Cyclones just becomes an absolute massive football game. It was big already, but it just becomes even bigger because whoever wins that game puts themselves in a phenomenal position to stay in the hunt for the college football playoff, and whoever loses has got a lot of work to do. And I know that's kind of a Captain Obvious statement, but think about if you win this first game, how much it's going to look good on your resume that you beat a top 25 team in the season opener. Now, of course, if you fade down the stretch, it doesn't matter. But if you're looking for brownie points to the committee when we get into November, winning this game is so much bigger because you could have a top 25 pelt on your wall early on in the season. So I just think it's so massive. And I think, even though I think a loss is not going to absolutely kill you, I mean, I think it's going to hurt you if you do not win this game. And boy, I've been kind of digging into this game a little bit more, looking at, who I think is, what could happen and who's going to, I just think these teams are super even. I really do think that. You've got two quarterbacks that have plenty of experience of playing big-time college football, whether it's Rocco Becht or Avery Johnson. I'd say the running back room advantage probably goes to Iowa State. They've got two guys, including Abdu Sama, who ran all over Kansas State in the snow a couple of years ago, and he was probably their second best back last year. Wide receivers, kind of both in question marks a little bit. Iowa State graduated all their top guys. Kansas State does bring back Jace Brown, but past that, a lot of guys that are coming into the portal, and maybe they're going to be stars, maybe they're not. We'll find out here in the coming weeks. And then offensive line, Kansas State's got some question marks. We don't know if Fitzpatrick's going to be. It sounds like he's not going to be able to play at Dublin. It's a question mark there. They're kind of piecing together a whole bunch of new guys, and hopefully they gel together to make a really good unit. Where Iowa State, I think, has 4 guys returning on the offensive line, and then defensively they seem about even for the most part. Iowa State maybe has a few more players back on that side of the ball that played last year, but their defense wasn't that great. I don't know. And I think it's just going to be such a massive game to kick off the season. I mean, you would love your first game to kind of be like, as Paul Crew from The Longest Yard would say, you need a tune-up game. Yeah. Well, you need that game where you go and you beat the pants off of, South Alabama or something like that to get your season in the right direction and kind of know what you're doing. But you're going to have to go out there and absolutely have your team ready to roll from game one. No matter if you're Iowa State or Kansas State. And I was kind of looking at the schedules too, flipping through that, because I was thinking these games can have impact on you later on. You go over, you're over in Ireland for a week, you have a great time, experiencing the culture, which is great, awesome. And then you get to play a game there, which is amazing. But then you have to come back to reality, and you've got school and you've got time changes and you got to keep practicing. And, both teams after, I would say our bye games where you're paying the opponent to come in against South Dakota and North Dakota, which I don't think are just gimme games, but they're going to be challenged. They'll be semi-challenging games. But then after that, then you've got games for both these teams that are highly challenging. Iowa State will have to host Iowa, and Kansas State has to host Army. And I don't care who you are. You can say what you want. That is not an easy game. The Army and Navy and Air Force facing those teams that do what they do and do what a lot of teams just don't do, running the triple option, can be very, very difficult to stop. And I'm telling you, those are some serious, serious trap games for both of these teams. I just feel like Kansas State and Iowa State are just on this same level, on this same path. And that means that if you get that first win, once again, going to put you up there a little bit higher. And I like that about it. So I don't know. I think it's a fascinating season opening game there between two top 25 teams that are in the hunt first and foremost for a Big 12 title. And if Iowa State, here's the thing. If Iowa State takes the next step, which the next step would be unprecedented because last year was unprecedented. Iowa State had 11 wins last year after their bowl win over against Miami, most in program history. If they take the next step, that means they're probably winning a Big 12 title. If Kansas State takes the next step as their team, that means they're getting into the Big 12 championship game. But you can almost skip a step if you're Kansas State if you can win this game. I don't know. I just think it's a humongous game that is really going to help decide the Big 12 early on. So once again, the AP Top 25 poll is out. Are there any changes that Ross will make? I don't know. I think I could see LSU being higher, maybe even more than an Oregon being a little bit lower. Trying to think if there's anybody else. Oregon being a little bit lower. I'm glad Illinois got up into the top 15. I think they deserve it. They're a really good team. Same thing for South Carolina. I think those are two teams that are very similar, but in different conferences. Both very well coached, have some really good players, but don't get the respect of the big dogs because they haven't been powers they aren't your typical powers in the conference, but I do believe that they probably are top 15, top 20 teams. Let's see. A lot of questions at Michigan, but they're going to get that love being right there in the middle of the pack. Florida's got a young quarterback in DJ Lagway who's very talented. We'll see how much he improves in his second season. Does he have a bit of a sophomore slump, or does he make a big jump? Oklahoma, a lot of people like Oklahoma sitting there at 18. They think they're going to have a really good season. I don't know. They're really riding and hoping that the transfer portal with John Mateer, the quarterback, Jade Knott, the running back, is a big-time help for them. We'll find out. Texas A&M and Indiana, two teams that had first-year head coaches last year that put it all together to find themselves hunting for college football playoff spots, and Indiana found one, believe it or not. I'm fascinated to see what Google me. Gosh, I'm trying to forget his name now. Signetti, what he has to say about year number 2. Interested in that. How big of a jump will Texas Tech make starting at 23? And all that money that they've put in through the portal, will they make a big jump up a couple of spots? Tennessee, that's a team that played in the college football playoff, and it tells you, and once again for them, they graduated a lot of guys. They lost their quarterback. I mean, if Nico Amaliviava was still there, they'd probably be inside the top. They'd be inside the top 20 at least, I would think. But him not being there has dropped them down just barely inside the top 25. And Boise State sitting there at 25. Once again, at that point making where all 12 teams from the college football playoff are in there. And I will guarantee you that by the time the season is over, all 12 of the teams that played in the college football playoff, there will be at least a couple of those that are not in the top 25. Once again, you're basing this poll off of a majority of it is based upon what you learned last year. But as we have learned, almost every single year, that gets swapped and changed because of portal, because of coaching changes, graduation, rosters change, coaches change, things change more than they ever did. And I think that results in, once again, team continuity not being as good, all that kind of stuff, which can lead to more losses than maybe what you expect. So once again, I would bet heavily on the fact that we are of those, even though all 12 teams made the top 25, we will not see all 12 in the top 25 when the season is over. It just seems too easy for that to happen. Real quick before we get to break, let's see. Also receiving some votes, didn't make the top 1, but receiving votes. Nebraska had 23 votes received, tied with like Tulane and around UNLV, and even Colorado getting a vote as well. One single vote for Colorado. Once again, just a lot of question marks. Who's going to play quarterback? Who's going to start there? How are they going to look? How is this offense going to look without Shedeur Sanders back there being able to chuck it 50 times? I mean, is it really, is it going to be as smooth of an operation as he made it look? I doubt it. But we'll see. Someone believes in him, gave him a vote for the top 25. So teams that just missed out on the top 25, in case you're curious, BYU and then Utah and Baylor. So think about the Big 12, have 4 teams in the top 25, none of them inside the top 10, but they have, if you go from 20 on down, they would have 5 teams in the top 30, from 20 to 30. They've had 5 teams in that spot. With, once again, Baylor, Utah, and BYU. And those 3 are way ahead of Louisville, USC, Georgia Tech when it comes to receiving votes in the AP Top 25. So very, very interesting Top 25 poll here. Once again, it's great to talk about, love to discuss it, but at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of it because we don't know anything. We don't know. Every year, there's some teams that come out of nowhere that put it all together, and they're a top 10, top 15 team. And there's teams that are top 15, top 10 teams that can't put it all together, and they're already in the top 25, in the top 25, top 10. So very fascinating stuff coming up here with the college football ranks. But like I said, going back to Kansas State and Iowa State, that game is just massive. A top 25 matchup that's going to mean a lot, I think, as the season progresses on. Okay, let's get to a break. We'll come back. Lindsay Kier is going to hop on with us here and discuss about her unique journey that she has been on ever since graduating Goodland High School. That's next here on a Tuesday edition of the Morning Blitz. Stick around.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
At FNB Bank, we know family comes first. Whether you're opening a savings account for your kids, buying a new home, or planning for the future, we're here to help every step of the way. With personalized service and flexible options, we make banking easy for your growing family. FNB Bank, serving families, strengthening communities. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
This is Austin Wright with the Anderson's Trade Group in your morning market update. It is currently August 12th, 2025. September corn, 381 3/4. December corn, 404 1/2. March 26 corn, 421 3/4. September KC wheat, 512 3/4. December KC wheat, 531 3/4. March 26 KC wheat, 548 3/4. November soybeans, 998 1/4. January soybeans, 1017. March 26 soybeans, 1032. Dow Jones futures are currently up 264 points at 44,349. S&P 500 futures are currently up 38.5 points at 6,438. NASDAQ futures are currently up 160.75 points at 23,798. Gold is currently down $5 at 3,399. Crude oil is currently down 52 cents at $63.44. For your grain marketing needs or more information on our freedom pricing tools, you can reach the Kansas City office, Jared Law, Tyler Gosch, Tom Saludo at 913-748-3000, and Colorado, John Hankey and John Stiles, 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
What's on your to-do list? Check your mail? Get groceries? How about getting your annual vaccines? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. Because we've got you. With local vaccine events and access to transportation, protecting yourself and your loved ones is not a chore anymore.
You've got this.
A message from the Aging and Disability
This season, armyworm better watch out. Because your wheat is protected by Lumavia CPL insecticide seed treatment with a unique mode of action that starts at the seed, then moves through the plant to protect it, from roots to shoots, for strong stand establishment and better yield potential. Army worms, you're out of here. Learn more at corteva.us/Lumavia CPL.
Kansas Corn reminds you that E15 fuel is the right choice for every kind of driver. For the car enthusiast, E15 has higher octane. For the thrifty driver, E15 is priced lower than regular unleaded. For the nature lover, E15 provides cleaner air. For the shopper who buys local, E15 has more ethanol from our Kansas corn farms. Choose E15 for a higher octane, lower price, and cleaner American fuel. This message from the Kansas Corn Commission. Learn more at kscorn.com.
It's not just sports, it's your morning game plan.
I don't even believe you have a plan. I have part of a plan. That is not a plan.
This is the Morning Blitz.
Once again, welcome back on a Tuesday morning, August the 12th. 8:34 Central, 7:34 Mountain Time, a beautiful 63 degrees. I noticed Lindsay's wearing a hoodie today, so it's great when hoodie weather comes back. So weather is looking quite nice. It's going to be 86 today, our high. So once again, we'll get to some baseball coming up a little bit later on in segment 3, and an interesting factoid for Kansas football as we know a little bit more information about their opponent for their season opener here, starting once again on the week from this coming Saturday there at the brand new stadium. We are pleased to be joined in studio now by Lindsay here. Like I was saying before, we have had at a point in time the her brother's in to talk, but it's not that Lindsay gets the shaft. That's not the key. That's not the truth there. But she deserves her own spotlight here a little bit. Good morning, Lindsay. How are we doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm so glad that you were able to come and do this, and I'm so happy I remembered to ask you about it. My mind runs 1,000 different directions. I wish it didn't, but it just does. So I'm so happy to remember to ask you to come on the show before you headed back, because I think you have just a fascinating story on what you've kind of been through since you've graduated high school, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But how's the summer been? I've seen you around all summer, which is so unique. Usually you don't see the student athletes that go off to college around a whole lot throughout the summer because they're doing their own thing, but you've been able to be around town and do a lot of different things. I bet that's been fun.
Yeah. So that really wasn't my first intention was to come back here. But I feel like I've gotten here and I've been able to just enjoy time with like my family. I've been doing a lot of swim lessons. That's been kind of my main thing. That was actually my first sport that I've ever done was swimming. So I used that and taught other people. And then I also have just been working out and running out and doing whatever my mom needs help with. So that's kind of
I'm guessing mom has probably been the most excited that you've been home out of everybody, I would guess. Maybe even Libby.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
Libby
she loves
too.
it.
Maybe Libby even a little bit too, because it's probably been very weird for Libby to not have anybody around the house.
Yeah, that's right. It's definitely going to be very different for her this whole school year.
I always wonder about those youngest kids of big families, of what it's like when they have the whole place to themselves, because I'm guessing that's just about as odd for them as it is for mom and dad.
Yeah, she's definitely going to have the eye on her a lot now. So I don't know if she'll like that, but
Lindsay Cure joining us here in studio. But yeah, I know you've been very busy with your swimming lessons, and that's been as I have seen from afar, very well attended. You have a lot of kids that in the community that love to help with swimming lessons. Do you love doing that kind of stuff? Is that something you really enjoy doing?
yeah, honestly, I feel like just teaching young kids, like I love being around young kids. Even I've been doing coaching as well with volleyball, and I just love it and love seeing people improve. And yeah, just that joy is what makes me continue to do it.
Yeah, you'd be a fantastic coach if you wanted to be that, but that's not what you're kind of focusing on. You're going more into kind of physical therapy stuff, correct?
Yeah. So I am currently majoring in kinesiology, and I think this next year and probably this next summer I will be doing a lot of job shadowing just to kind of get those observation hours to apply for grad school. So right now I don't really know where I want to go with PT. I just know that's kind of where I'm at. I just love all of it. Some people find it really, really hard, but I also find a lot of joy in that kind of area. So yeah, wherever it takes me, that's kind of what this observation hours are kind of for.
Yeah, so you're kind of waiting to see, have a firsthand look and watch and see, and then pick kind of the area you want to go to within PT, correct?
Yeah. I kind of have a little bit of an idea. I know the school here in the high school provides job shadowing, which I got that opportunity my senior year, and I absolutely loved it. That's kind of why I knew where I wanted to be. Just now I want to know where I'll specialize is kind of where I'm at now.
Lindsay Cure joining us in studio, former Goodland Cowgirl, former Regis volleyball player, and now at the University of Kansas State, going to be throwing the javelin here. And so for those who haven't followed Lindsay's story, as some of us other like, what's this? What's the unique story about this young lady? Well, I just think it's so fascinating. I want to go back to like at the very end of high school, because you were a very good volleyball player. You helped lead a team to a couple of state championships. You were a part of that as well. What was that like? Because I think you wanted to go on and play sports at the next level, but I don't think like the offers were just like pouring in that you were looking for. What was that like trying to kind of find your first place to go right out of high school to go continue athletically and academically?
Yeah, so I actually, me and my mom kind of went through this whole NCAA thing and just tried to find schools that were close by, because I'm a homebody, so I kind of wanted to be a little close.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I just looked out. I reached out to people. With volleyball, it kind of made it hard because I didn't do, at least where we're at, it's kind of hard to do club volleyball. So I didn't do that. And a lot of these coaches nowadays, that's what they look for in athletes, being very experienced in that, just kind of picking one sport. And that made it hard trying to find a school. But yeah, I took a few visits and whatnot. And then track came along, at least my junior and senior year with javelin. I never tried it until my junior year and went out and did pretty well.
Yeah, chucked it a long ways. Yes.
Yeah. So there I actually did get a few bigger schools reach out to me. But at that time I was already committed to play volleyball at Regis. So I decided to just stick with that. But yeah, there was always that what if, because at one point, yeah, K-State did reach out to me in high school, and as much as you'd want to talk to them, you can't really do that, knowing that you're already committed. So yeah, that what if was always there.
You could have probably, decommitted if you were, anybody else, but I can understand, hey, we made a commitment here. We're going to stick to this. And let's start there. I mean, you went to Regis and you did have a great experience there. I mean, you did have a really good experience and did have some good success there in Regis.
Yeah, I learned a lot. I feel like I've met some of my best friends there. Amazing coaches. They've just taught me so much, not just about volleyball, but just being a better person. So yeah, it was obviously hard to make that decision to leave, but I feel like it was a great experience and just such a blessing.
For those who don't know, but kind of the reason that you decided to leave was what? And there were a lot of girls that left the volleyball program at Regis kind of due to can you kind of dive into that a little bit for us, please?
Yeah. So we came back from spring break and had a meeting with our coaches. They told us sadly that all of the athletic scholarship money had been cut by 80%, which was obviously a large portion of what all of our money was coming in for, or at least all of us were coming to Regis for. And yeah, there was just other things as well that kind of added up with that too. One for me was not having an academic advisor. So I didn't know when I was really going to be graduating, and I was a little scared that I wasn't going to graduate on time. And yeah, we had no idea what the future was going to hold for us, because this happened the year before. It just wasn't as bad, and we were good financially at that time, like our volleyball program was, but this time around it didn't really work out very well. So we just didn't know what the future holds, and we had a lot of years left of volleyball and kind of wanted to see what other opportunities were out there for us.
Lindsay Cure joining me in studio. Did you kind of see the walls closing in a little bit even before this last year? You talked about how, volleyball had good funding, but other programs were losing some funding. I mean, Regis is one of those interesting schools because they don't have football, and that usually takes up a big portion of the budget. They don't have that. So it was kind of fascinating to hear that they were in such a tight squeeze because they don't have that football budget that they have to account for.
Yeah. So Regis relies a lot on donors as well. But yeah, we kind of saw in my freshman year, the kind of the same thing happened, not as large, obviously, but yeah, that struggle was there, and we ended up losing our whole entire golf team, which was scary, but I know that our coaches really reassured us, and there wasn't any worry about us having any problems like that. And then here we are where it did end up happening. So you just never know.
No, you don't. And it's amazing to hear this, because for those who follow Division II volleyball, Regis is one of the powers. I mean, of Division II volleyball. It is one of the bigger, powerful programs that's, competing for national championships year in and year out. And so to have that program lose what they did is it can be scary. And unfortunately, this is kind of the thing, we talk about, we can talk about your brothers who go and play Division I football and NIL and all that stuff. On the women's side, in a smaller sports, it's a scary time. It's a scary time to navigate this, because you don't know with all the money that's going to be thrown out to paying the bigger sports, men's and women's basketball and football, if they're going to have enough money to keep these other smaller programs and stuff going. I can imagine that's a scary thing to kind of walk into. Not that you feel that way now, but that's a way I'm sure a lot of women maybe that are in swimming and diving or gymnastics or something like that. You don't know if it could be a similar situation for them. Like, we don't have the money to keep you here.
Yeah, it was honestly, it was a scare at one point where we did think our program was going to be cut at some point, just because you never know. And
that's nuts.
It just seemed like we did have a meeting with the president, and it just didn't seem like he really saw the program, or at least athletics, as a big deal benefit, as they should have been. And that's kind of another reason as well, just didn't really know where we sat.
Oh,
with him,
absolutely.
so.
Now, luckily, you were telling me you and a lot of your other teammates that left have found other homes, whether it be at other Division II schools or even some Division I schools playing volleyball. So that's good that they have found some landing spots. And the program is still going at Regis. It did not shut down, but they've had to completely rebuild and retool, which, by the way, shout out to your head coach for sticking around and we're doing that rebuild job, because that had to be a lot of gray hairs and a lot of work to get that done. Lindsay Cure joining us in studio. So now take us to the next step. How did Kansas State track and field come back into the picture when kind of volleyball was falling apart?
Yeah, so once again, just like that kind of what if was there. When I was leaving high school, I just wanted to know how far I can go, because I only had 2 years of javelin, and I absolutely loved it in those 2 years.
And I got this. You did throw it at Regis last year when the program, I think they allowed you to do. You were the first ever to throw women's javelin at Regis, correct? I would guess one of the first ones to do so.
Yeah, I was the one and only one to do it. But yeah, that also was another part that I forgot to talk about. But Regis, when I did commit to, they also said they do have we're planning on making a track program. So that's kind of what I was planning on dual sporting right away. But also that was another thing where they continue to have different head coaches come in and out, and it never really happened until this past year. It was honestly a wild experience. My javelin coach never done javelin, and he was a cross country runner. So you can bet how fun that was. I was doing a lot of coaching myself, and then also we didn't have the facilities to really throw javelin. So we'd go to a high school, and in Colorado, high school does not throw javelin. So I had no runway. I was throwing off of a track. Sometimes I was throwing in one of our parking lots into like a pit. So it's just funny to be able to like look back on those things and see how far I went, and knowing that the opportunities are just going to be tremendous at K-State, and knowing that I'll have an actual coach that has a little bit of background in javelin, and just all the things that they have there be great. So
absolutely. Lindsay Cure joining us here in studio. So once again, back to our original question about, so did you reach out to Kansas State? Did they reach out to you? How did that kind of go about to get you in the boat where you are now?
Yeah, so actually it kind of was a little bit of my parents just like at least like looking to see if that isn't opportunity, knowing all of this kind of came into there. Yeah.
Oh, if you know, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they talked to Curry Sexton, and just saw if there was an opportunity, because I knew a few girls already on the javelin team there, and we did like kind of look into what they were throwing, and I mean I felt like I would fit in right away. So I said, why not? Let's just see. I also have grown up watching K-State football, and then just being around K-State, and I've absolutely loved it. It just always just felt like home. So I felt like I wanted to reach out to them anyways.
And they accepted, apparently. Or did you have to do a tryout or anything like that, or send some sort of film?
No. So I think I was kind of still currently in season for javelin anyways. So they got to kind of watch video of me, and then they just would hear like how I did and threw that day. So
I'm curious. You mentioned all the benefits of Kansas State. No, they have. I was curious if you could dive into that. You know, like you said, you were throwing in a parking lot, into a pit, all that kind of stuff, and now you're going to a Division I track and field program. How different are the facilities from what was happening?
I mean, the facilities are amazing. I did,
because they're pretty new, aren't they? The track and field ones.
Yeah, they're indoor facility. They took over the football fields, the football's indoor facility, and made it a track. And it's beautiful. And they're planning on actually, at least they told me that they're planning on adding on with it and adding locker rooms, adding a lot of seating to hopefully be able to host the indoor track and field like national championship, which was awesome to hear too. Also, the coaches are brand new. I mean, they've only had a year under their belt at K-State, and they're just planning on improving. And that's just something I wanted to hear too. And I wanted to be a part of that journey. So
once again, Lindsay Cure continue to join us in studio. Going to be a track and field athlete at Kansas State here in the coming year. So you mentioned, you don't throw the javelin in the indoor. There's not enough room. So what are you going to do during indoor season?
So there is, I mean, we can do a few things. They have
The decathlon.
Yeah. I would love to do the heptathlon.
Sorry,
Heptathlon,
the heptathlon. Sorry.
But I don't know. They said they're open to me doing that. But yeah, they'll have like, I will still be able to throw indoors, just not with an actual javelin. And they have like a few things that I'll have to obviously change. But that's kind of like this whole off season's for. We'll just work on a lot of technique stuff and getting our front foot placed well and all that stuff. Just working on the hip mobility. So,
but I find amazing they're not going to have you do any sort of thing possibly during the indoor season when it comes to competing.
No, yeah.
That's interesting. I figured they'd find something for an athlete of your caliber to do. You watch. That'll happen. You watch. I have a feeling. They'll be like, have you seen Kira do this? Yeah, let's try her out at that.
Yeah.
Kira, you're in the 1500.
Oh,
what?
I don't know about
I don't
that.
want to run that. Yeah, let's see what you do. Lindsay Kira joining us here in studio. It's going to be you're like you said, you're heading to school here in just a couple of days here, heading to Kansas State. I'm getting, like you said, I think you said to me here when you got in, you have orientation coming up here in the next day or so to get ready for that. How excited are you to start classes and things of that sort? I mean, yeah, the athletics are cool, but how neat is it to start classes as well?
Yeah, I'm honestly really excited. I don't know if I'm that excited about the school part.
Well, no kid is, so don't worry.
But yeah, I think I'm just ready to get up there, ready to get started. I know that they have amazing programs for me. So yeah, no doubt it'll be really good for me to be up there.
You said you've been working out all summer. Did they send you a workout regimen and things like that to follow this off season, or just something you've just been doing on your own?
No, I just do it all on my own right now. Currently my coaches, I feel like they never really have an off season either. So they're just kind of going. I think 2 weeks ago, some of my teammates were competing in like the USA championship stuff in Oregon. So yeah, it doesn't really ever slow down for anybody there, but I think right away they'll have a program set up for me, and we're going to get rolling. So,
no, I have no doubt you'll be busier than you know what to do with here in a couple of days. I have no doubt about that. I also think it's a funny story. You're in the same dorm as Lincoln, right? By the way, Lindsay said she was not thrilled about that.
Yeah, we always made that joke. We're going to be in those Jardine apartments, which normally where all the athletes are. And yeah, I went to look in and see where I was at. And I asked my mom, like, well, where is this? And she starts laughing and she's like, you're in the same building as Lincoln. And so then, yeah, I just sent him a snap and I was like, do you know where building 13 is? And he's like, you gotta be kidding me. So yeah, that'll be fun, but I'm sure we'll probably make some trips to the store together and whatnot.
Yeah, put it on his bill.
Yeah,
he can afford it.
That's right.
Put it on his bill. I would say, younger brother, I have carried you your whole life, and now you're going to carry me.
Yeah, and if I ever drive my car, he's filling up my gas.
There you go. I love this. This is great. I can't wait to hear that conversation.
Yeah.
I want video evidence of that combo. Those are going to be good stuff. Lindsay Cure here within studio. Well, Lindsay, it's been great. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy for you that you've kind of landed on your feet after kind of a very questionable time, and look forward to seeing how it all shakes out here in the coming months and years for you.
Yeah, thank you. It should be fun. I'm excited.
Are you going to be at Layton's first game? Are you going? I doubt you're going to Dublin, but are you going to go to Layton's first game at the new KU football stadium?
Yeah, I'll be.
You have so many
Layton's
options,
I know. That's what's nice too. I think being around family, and that was also one thing that I wanted. And being able to watch Layton's games, because who knows if this will be his last year, if he'll take another year of eligibility. So being up there will be really good for me, and getting to watch him play at KU.
It'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun for you and your family. That's for sure. So, Lindsay, thank you so much. Appreciate you stopping on by, and safe travels back east. And we'll catch up soon. All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Once again, Lindsay Cure here in studio. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we are going to wrap up the show with the walk-off and a little bit of baseball as well. That is next here on the Morning Blitz.
There's a lot of excitement at this year's county fair. It's a great time to visit with family and friends. And make sure you take some extra time to view all the 4-H projects. Again this year, Farm Credit of Western Kansas will bring you all the results on this radio station from the 4-H livestock judging in our surrounding counties. The staff at Farm Credit would like to take this time to congratulate all 4-H members and recognize their hard work and pride they took in their projects. Farm Credit of Western Kansas.
Summer is heating up, and Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby has everything you need to make the most of it. Tame that lawn with top-notch weed and feed from Ultimate Fertilizer, and keep those bugs away with powerful pesticides. Plus, Ego mower blowers and trimmers to get that job done fast. Fire up some summer flavor with a Traeger grill or a Blackstone griddle. And if you're building a fence or even fixing a sprinkler, they've got the building materials and supplies to keep your projects moving. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, your summer project headquarters.
This is Danny Zwaggart with the Schooler Company. Since your crops are the most essential part of the global supply chain, let us help be your strategic marketing partner. Whether it's an extra truck at harvest, marketing your on-farm storage, or asking us about our unique risk management solutions, we have the tools to help you navigate these ever-changing markets. We are partners in helping your operation run as smooth as possible, and our local merchandisers are deeply knowledgeable about supply and demand and the current market movements. So give Schooler a call today at 785-890-3639.
Hi, Grandpa. This is
50 unread messages.
Emergency.
Investment urgent.
Each year, more than 3.5 million older adults are victims of financial exploitation in the U.S. Many are afraid to report it, but taking action prevents additional victims. Here's what you can do. Stop. Don't interact with the scammers. Verify the source with a trusted person and report it right away if you think you've been scammed. Remember, stop, verify, report.
Sponsored by Kansas DCF and KDADS and aired in cooperation with the Kansas Association of Broadcasters and this station.
All the sports you love, all in one place.
Ooh, this will come in handy.
This is the Morning Blitz.
Just a couple minutes left to go on the show. Thanks again to Lindsay Cure for spending some time with me this morning. What a fantastic young lady. Wish her the very best in all of her future endeavors. She deserves it. It's been a lot of, just the last couple of years, talking about her having her great success in the javelin. Janessa Reuter, who was at Norton, she's at the University of Nebraska throwing the javelin. She's having great success up there. There have been some great javelin throwers here in our area over the last couple of years. That is for sure. It's real quickly in baseball last night. The Royals get a bounce back win over the Nationals. Had to come from behind, but they get it done. 7-4, the final score there. Salvador Perez with a homer. Kyle Isabel with the game break with the homer in the bottom of the fourth. So the bottom of the fourth was that was in the sixth. In the sixth inning. The Perez homered. Kyle Isabel that tied the game at 4. Isabel had a 2-run shot that gave them a lead. Mikey Yastrzemski then in the 8th added a little bit of insurance, and that got the Royals a 7-4 victory. And the Rockies, well, they held a lead for a little while against the Cardinals. They were up in the top of the 7th thanks to Warming Bernabel ground out, RBI ground out, and then Brenton Doyle with a single to center driving in Mickey Moniak gave him a 2-1 lead, but what would happen is a double to right would score 2 from off the bat of Brendan Donovan in the bottom of the 8th, and the Rockies could not come back after that. Miles Michaelis held the Rockies hitless through the first 5 innings before they finally got things cooking there. By the way, Brenton Doyle, talk about a great second half. How bad he was in the first half of the season, the center fielder for the Rockies, has really found it in the second half. He has the second best batting average. I think it's in the National League, and maybe even Major League Baseball. Second best batting average in the National League at .412 in the second half of the season. He has really found his bat after struggling mightily, and I do mean mightily, through that first half of the season. He now finally has kind of gotten that batting average up over 230 comfortably. But yeah, it was times where it was hovering around 200 or even below for Brenton Doyle. Both those series, Rockies at Cardinals and Royals hosting the Nationals, continue tonight on AM 790 KXXX and AM 730 KLOE.
High drive, deep left, grand slam! And back lifts his ball deep to right. How about a walk-off grand
First play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Well, Kansas knows who the quarterback is of the team they'll face in their season opener against Fresno State as they open up the new booth. Former son of Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner, E.J. Warner, got the starting nod for Fresno State yesterday. So E.J. Warner and the Fresno State Bulldogs will take on the Kansas Jayhawks in the season opener there in Lawrence here a week from this Saturday. I thought it was interesting to see college football just a few weeks away. ESPN putting out 10 players to watch that are true freshmen. Quarterback Julian Lewis from Colorado. And making the honorable mention list, our own Lincoln Cure, making the list for national watch list of freshmen to watch in the upcoming season, according to ESPN. And kind of some interesting breaking news here this morning. Some big news is that apparently there have been some Venmo transactions, possibly making some gambling for John Mateer, the quarterback at Oklahoma last year. He was gambling through Venmo. Interesting. That could mean some trouble. Boy, that would be a big right hook to the face of Oklahoma. If the big star quarterback they've invested multiple millions of dollars in to come and try and save and salvage their offense is sidelined for some time due to gambling last year. That's interesting. We'll see. Says Mateer has said to the school that he has never gambled. We'll see. It's a story. It's a story. That means something has happened. Interesting. All right, that does it for the program today. Thanks again to Lindsay Cure. It was great to have her on and visit with us about her journey that she has been on ever since graduating from Goodland High. We're back again tomorrow in 23 hours. Hope you join us for another edition of the Morning Blitz on a Wednesday. Have a good one.
Classic rock plays here. This is Rocket